The Legend of Zelda is a beautifully magical series full of endless wonder, intriguing mystery, gorgeous vistas, and everything in between. The gracefully ethereal way every game connects to one another through the binding of fate creates a lot of questions about this world and its characters. Is this cycle of courage, wisdom, and hatred a blessing from the goddesses or a curse? Is it ever possible for this pattern of rebirth to be broken? Or are the people of Hyrule to be subjected to a great calamity every couple thousand of years? And maybe most importantly, do these two ever get together or what? Put your dumbass Zelda theories away, because we're here to dust off and answer the age-old question. Link and Zelda. Are they in love? And I promise it's a more interesting answer than just yes or no, because every depiction of every incarnation is so different and bound by the needs of the story they are in, whilst also being connected spiritually to the versions of themselves that come before and after. But enough of this pretentious wishy-washy talk, let's go back all the way to the start. I always forget this game kinda sucks. I know it was the granddaddy of its day and started the whole thing off, but I can't really think of people playing this day without a guide and having a good time. But if we just skip right ahead to the very end of the game and see Link defeat Ganon, we'll meet and save Zelda for the very first time. Sort of, depending on how you categorize it, or whatever. All she says is, "Thanks Link, you're the hero of Hyrule." Yeah, I know, I just saved everyone. Finally, peace returns to Hyrule, the story is over. Yay! Zelda 2, The Adventure of Link. Why is this the only one not called The Legend of Zelda? And speaking of Zelda, here's where things get kinda weird. This is one of the semi-rare direct sequels in the Zelda franchise. So, the Link we play as is the exact same one as the first game, and we are trying to thwart the return of Ganon from his death that we did before. But the Zelda we're trying to save, this sleeping one here, is not the same Zelda from the first game. It's actually a different Zelda who has just been sleeping forever? Except maybe it is the same Zelda? I don't know, none of this makes any sense, but she kisses Link at the end. Huh? What? What? I know it's an 8-bit NES game, but you cannot tell me that body language is screaming a peck on the cheek. They made out. Okay, so the answer is yes, they are in love. Video over. Except not really. These two NES games, while foundational, were kind of the wilder years of the franchise. It wasn't until the next entry, A Link to the Past, where the majority of the conventions we know of the franchise kinda came to fruition. The Master Sword, Kakariko Village, hitting the Cuckoos, it all kinda started here. When focusing exclusively on the tale of Link and Zelda in this game and whether they are in love or not, we get thrown this very unique curveball. Upon entering Hyrule Castle at the start of the game, Link finds his uncle close to death in the dungeon basement, and he says, "Save the princess! Zelda is your..." What? Zelda's my what? Lover? Girlfriend? Sister? Ugh. And she's not even at the end of the game this time. I guess she was busy doing her hair or something, which honestly, I don't blame her. She's so cute in this game. Look at her, oh my god. So did Link have a crush on Zelda in A Link to the Past? Well, if we're looking exclusively at that game, no. He barely even knew her. But if we go to its sequel, Link's Awakening, we find something very interesting. Marin, this cute little island girl. Her and Link waddle around, go to different places. It's almost like a cute little date. My heart skipped a beat. I want to know everything about you. Please, don't ever forget this song. Or me. Bro, say something! You're fumbling it, dude! You're fumbling it! So in the 4 games so far, the only romantic interest of any kind Link has had was this random girl called Marin. But if we come to the end of the game, spoilers, sorry, the entire island is actually not even real, it's all a dream? And it's a completely valid interpretation to say that Marin is just some young boy's sort of fantastical amalgamation about a princess he once met. Still doesn't change the fact they never got together though. And that's going to be the end of what I would like to dub the Wilder years. It was the first couple of entries, and the series was finding its feet in its gameplay and world. Kissing a princess or two isn't really fun from a gameplay perspective, and that's all these idiotic dumb geniuses cared about when making the game. But then we enter the next era of the franchise. It's not right to call Ocarina of Time a reboot, but it did sort of reshape the franchise whilst establishing the tone and direction moving forward in so many ways. And one in particular was establishing the roles of Link, Zelda, and Ganondorf as the trio who are forever fated and destined to meet. Is there anything romantic between Link and Zelda in this game? No. But they share a different, beautiful and profound connection. The story of this game is kinda bittersweet. Link is just the plucky, unknowing chosen one, while Zelda is the young princess none would take seriously. Deep down in her heart, she must know that her visions of the future and magical abilities inherited through the royal bloodline must mean something special. As kids, they work together to try and stop the evil scheme of Ganondorf. And I always love this piece of art depicting them hanging out, enjoying the peaceful and fun youth they have before... Ugh, that's not good. The rest of the Hero of Time's journey is spent assembling the 6 sages whilst being led and guided by the mysterious Sheik, who turns out to just be Zelda in disguise. But there's nothing romantic between them either unless poetry is flirting. After a last second mishap, they are able to defeat Ganondorf and, again, the two of them share their last little bit of time together. There's this deep sadness in Zelda's eyes as she apologizes to Link, feeling their role bestowed upon them by the goddess robbed him of the carefree childhood he deserved. And with a few notes of the ocarina, she sends him back, condemning him to an even lonelier timeline, free from the dark future he helped prevent. Was this connection between them romantic in any way? No. But I find it hard to interpret it as anything other than a shared, profoundly personal and uniquely deep connection, which feels even more apparent when in his most dire moment of need during Majora's Mask, the only person that rushes to his head is the princess, which includes her melancholic goodbye. I feel like I've known you forever. Of course, this could just be a nod to the future Zelda that Link left behind, but I think it's more beautiful to think of it as something more special, something borrowed from all the incarnations of Zelda and Link from the past. Before this point and after, they are always going to be reborn in time for a great evil to threaten their land, and selflessly, they must sacrifice their peaceful life to stop it. And this is what I'd like to call the era of fate. A bunch of stories where these two souls are reborn again and again for one purpose: to stop a catastrophic evil. In The Wind Waker, the sassy pirate queen Tetra is revealed to actually be the princess in disguise. Link and Zelda then have to stop Ganon and embrace the repercussions of the foolish leaders of Hyrule's old past. Together, they set off to find a new land to call the Kingdom of Hyrule. In Twilight Princess, the two of them barely meet, and 2 of the 3 times he's a dog? God, I really hope there was anything romantic between there. That would be so gross. Ugh, yuck. Ugh. But again, despite meeting in their true forms just once, they immediately share that special connection between themselves, the Triforce and the goddesses above. Also, I think Link was into Midna or something. I don't know, do you guys think the game's actually about her? All of these games, Wind Waker, Phantom Hourglass, Oracle of Seasons and Ages, Four Swords and Four Swords Adventures, Twilight Princess, The Minish Cap, Link and Zelda don't really share anything other than that profoundly unique destiny gifted to them by the goddesses in Hyrule's moment of crisis. And while it's not romantic, I still think it's beautiful in its own kind of way. So, apart from one archetypal cliche kiss in Zelda 2, there's never really been anything more between these two apart from a special shared role in fate. And so, while it's kind of a shame, I guess we can rule out any sort of romantic subtext between these two. And then Skyward Sword happened. There's something really different about this game that gives it a sort of retrospective importance in relation to the rest of the series. Because despite coming out 25 years after the franchise's inception, Skyward Sword is canonically the first tale in this mammoth mess of a timeline. And the reason that is important is because, let me just recap. Many years ago, everyone lived upon the land in harmony, until one day some bad baddies who were bad but definitely not bad decided they wanted to kill everyone. The divine goddess Hylia decided to send all the humans up to the giant island in the sky as a last-ditch effort to save humanity. And if you were one of the many other races or species of life, suck shit, I guess? Many years later, and we meet Link and Zelda, 2 knights in training at the academy in their hometown of Skyloft. Almost instantly, from their very first interaction, even when it's not face-to-face, you can tell that their relationship in this game is different. There is a much deeper friendship and personal intimacy here than we've ever seen before. And then underneath all that, there's, ooh. Aww, that's so cute, dog. I think it's very hard to deny that the relationship between Link and Zelda is anything other than awkward youthful love. And it's such a treat to watch and indulge. Oh my god, she just got sucked into a tornado! And now with the reason to set off on his quest, Link, not the predestined legendary hero, not the chosen one, just some regular guy, goes through hell and high water to save the woman who means the most to him. Although their encounters through the journey are scant and frustrating at first, when you finally get a chance to talk to her one-on-one, it's heartbreaking. Zelda, the girl you grew up with, the one who you went to sacrifice everything for to save, the woman you probably really love, she's not just Zelda. She's the reincarnation of the goddess Hylia herself. reborn in mortal flesh. Zelda, or I suppose Hylia, explains how she tricked Link into becoming the hero she needed to stop demise, knowing his deep affection for her would cause him to chase her to the ends of the earth, and how guilty that makes her feel. I used you. Then, Zelda reveals she's going to submit herself to an eternal slumber, to protect herself from being used by Girahim to resurrect demise. And although it's the most noble, selfless act she can choose, that doesn't stop Link running at full force, trying to stop her, trying to stop his childhood friend. And amidst the banging of fists on the magical seal, Zelda tells Link, despite the great role and responsibility she's been given, despite the circumstances of her existence, despite everything, she says, "I'm still your Zelda." These two care about each other in such a profound way that I can't see as anything other than romantic. Okay, but it's one game, why does it matter? Because at the end of the game, denies, hatred incarnate, blah blah blah, curses the hero and the goddess reborn to an eternal cycle of rebirth. Where his hatred forms, they will also return to fight it off forever and ever and ever. And we know that, we went over that before, but suddenly these two being lovers recontextualizes everything. It's no longer about these two people just fated to meet again and again, but now it means these are lost lovers, finding each other in every single lifetime. Their profound connection isn't just the blessing of Hylia or the curse of demise, but also the link of love between them, drawing the two close over and over. And it means that despite Demise's curse reincarnating them over and over again, they're always the victors, because it's the love they share for each other that's always being reborn, and that's so beautiful, and oh my god, it's one of the best things about Skyward Sword. Except they don't even kiss! Oh my god, don't have two birds flapping and flying, it's not the same! Aonuma, you coward! And I feel like it was about this time that Nintendo sort of changed the way they approached Link and Zelda's relationship. Just a couple years before Skyward Sword, Spirit Tracks on the DS showed a uniquely romantic relationship between the couple. Zelda, cursed into a ghostly spirit form and with way more personality and sass than we are used to seeing from her, accompanies Link upon his journey, and together, they be the new threat to their new kingdom of Hyrule. And Link also says,
"On an unrelated note, I'm into trains now."
And then there is the big daddy, Breath of the Wild. I know I complain a lot about how the story of the game is so detached from the gameplay, but the narrative is really interesting and presents one of the best Zeldas in the entire franchise. And one of the most interesting things they do with her and Link is pair them up really early on and make Zelda kind of hate him.
And stop following me!
You gotta understand, she is told from birth that she is special. She's the princess of a kingdom that she will one day inherit. And on top of that, she has a special power passed down onto her from the goddess herself. A power that only her mother knows anything about. A mother that died when Zelda was very young. They do such a fantastic job at selling the isolated, lonely vibe of this depiction of the princess. Not that she's an introvert or antisocial or anything, but you can tell she's lived a strict life of rules and formalities, not knowing how to be anything other than prim and proper. It also throws a spanner into the works when she is assigned a personal knight, Link, who is very quickly and seemingly effortlessly found to be the reincarnation of the chosen hero, wielding the mighty blade that has traveled throughout time. The two are paired together, with Link assigned to protect her as she ventures around Hyrule, trying to awaken the power within herself. The one cinch is, despite being the reincarnation of the goddess, she cannot feel even a stir of her powers within. You can see the frustration of what she thinks is a personal failure grow heavier and heavier, exasperated further by Link's flawless perfection at his predestined role. Giving Zelda this resentment towards Link is this really interesting dynamic we've never really seen before in the series, and it makes the character growth between them such a juicy treat to watch. There's nothing quite as obvious or on the nose as Skyward Sword's duo, but you can see Zelda opening up and getting more comfy with her knight over the course of the scattered memories. You can see her attitudes change when the stoic hero saves her from harm or lets her confide a deep thought or fear, and at the end of their tragic failure of a battle, what is the thing that awakens her power? Her desire to protect the one she loves. It's never said outright, except from this one weird bird guy, but like Skyward Sword, I find it really hard to see it as anything other than this. And another angle to view it all from is instead of asking if Zelda loves Link, why don't we look at it the other way? The stone-faced hero who doesn't say a word, wanting to silently bear the burdens of his role. He also spends those many hours with the princess, letting her confide in him. And maybe what's most beautiful is, after his 100-year nap-induced amnesia, the only memories he can recover, the common link between every single one of them, is her. they're all about Zelda. Okay, well, mostly. Sometimes they're about the Guardians, and also there's this cut one where he's doing ninjutsu. It'll be really interesting to see if they develop this any further in Tears of the Kingdom, which, let's be honest, they probably won't, considering Zelda will most likely be in this hole she fell into for the entire game. But it is sweet to see how they've linked these two characters together throughout the years and games. And just a little headcanon of mine, I always love the idea that their love or their connection throughout their many incarnations somehow always makes its way back into the Master Sword. The one physical object that links these different versions of the same people together. And it would be nice if, even subconsciously, those memories and feelings reach every Link and Zelda, every time they touch the legendary sword. Thanks, Fee.
Your batteries need to be replaced.
Oh, come on, really now?
You should try dowsing.
Bro, what? I'm not even searching for anything.
It's Valentine's Day and I calculate there is a 0% chance you have a date.
Oh my fucking god, now that's just so rude. Okay, I'll be real. I just thought this would be a funny, quick Valentine's Day gag sort of video, but then the more and more I delved into the question, the more interesting of an answer I kept finding. One of my favorite things about the franchise is the way in which these three characters in the land of Hyrule are cleverly reused again and again. I see people saying they wish these games were disconnected and that every story was a different retelling of the one true Legend of Zelda. But that's really lame and sucks. The way these people are reborn time and time again is just a clever way for the series to keep reinventing the same locations and people each time. And it leads to this incredible byproduct effect where the stories and people are connected to each other through both destiny and time in the most gorgeous bit of magical storytelling that isn't really found anywhere else. And I think that's pretty cool. And if you think it is too, please let me know down below. Or maybe write me some steamy Link x Zelda fanfic. That'd be cool. I hope you have yourselves a wonderful and lovely Valentine's Day, and I will see you guys very soon.